Hello again and welcome back. I got some sourdough starter that's been sitting around overly ripe, ready to be baked with as a discard. So I'm going to do something with that today. What I'm going to make is some sourdough English muffins, baked like a pancake on an electric griddle. With a list of all the ingredients and how much everything is here, but just to let you know, I've got all-purpose flour, I've got sugar, I've got salt, I've got yeast, I've got butter, I've got discarded sourdough starter, and I have scalded milk. But you just want it to come to a simmer so it doesn't kill the yeast, but it needs to be warm. So let me scald the milk, and once I've scalded the milk, I will put everything at the same time into my trusty stand mixer and mix it up. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I've got my milk, 2 cups, I've scalded it, it's right at about 100 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. I've got all my other ingredients already added. Mixer. I'm going to turn it up a little higher because we're mixing right now. Don't want it to spatter everywhere. But we are mixing at this point, not kneading. Let that go for a few minutes till it's all incorporated, and then we'll come back. Alright, we've been kneading here for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so. And I think we're right about where we need to be, so let's go ahead and stop this. Take a look at it. What we're looking here with this is a fairly smooth, but not really sticky dough. And I think that's pretty much exactly what I've got here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to put it in an oiled pot to rest for the bulk fermentation or first rise. And that's going to happen over 8 hours, and it's going to be covered in the refrigerator. So 8 hours, up to 2 days you can leave this. So if you're not ready to bake with it tomorrow, if something happens and you get called out of the house, you're good to go. This will stay for 2.5 days. Okay, here it is in my bowl, ready to proof overnight in bulk fermentation at a retarded rate, they call it, retarding the fermentation. 8 hours at least in the refrigerator. You can see I've got just some cling film over the top of it. Let's get this into the fridge and we'll look in on it again in the morning. All right, 8 hours in the refrigerator plus about 2 hours to come to room temperature right here on the countertop. And look at this, it has risen wonderfully. Look at the size of that thing. I'm going to turn this out onto a floured surface, and then I'm going to shape it into my English muffins. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to cut it in half and only work with half at a time. I'm going to roll it into about a 1/2 inch thick, and then I'm going to cut them with a 3-inch diameter measuring sort of, I don't even know what you call this thing, but that's 3 inches. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to put them onto these half-sheet cookie sheets, which I have dusted with cornmeal. Before I cut this and roll this, I just wanted to show you that this is a very thick, dense dough. But hopefully, that's what we're looking for. Alright, I have rolled this out. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. I've got my little gizmo here, and I'm just going to simply cut circles. Just like that. So, there's the first half. I got about 15 out of that one. Then we set these aside and we let them just sort of hang out for about 45 minutes. They should rise a little bit and get kind of puffy. Oh yes, forgot to mention, sprinkle the top with your plain old cornmeal again. You're going to need to get your electric griddle or your stovetop griddle or a cast iron pan. Well, 30 minutes these guys have been waiting, and look at how puffy and poofy they are. I covered them just with a bit of a piece of plastic so I can take care of that. Let me bring these over. Here is the next trick to making English muffins. I've got them nice. I've got a rack to cool them on, and these are going to be cooked on an electric griddle. My electric griddle is heated to 350 degrees. If you have an electric griddle, heat yours to 350 degrees. If you do not have an electric griddle, if you have a stovetop griddle, or if you have a cast iron frying pan that you're using, or some other way, you want it to be on medium-low heat. You're not cooking these like a pancake, you are actually sort of baking them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these on here gently. I don't want them to depress. I don't want them to deflate. Spread them fairly evenly. All right, I'm going to let them go for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to do the magic trick. All right, so the English muffins take about 10 to 12 minutes per side. These have been going for about 5, and here is the magic trick. How do they get English muffins to look so perfectly flat? I have here another baking sheet. It is clean, and I'm going to rest it gently on the top for the last 5 to 7 minutes. I don't want it to have a lot of pressure, just one baking sheet enough to help keep them from rising too much. We'll give it another 6 minutes. We'll come back, we'll look at one of them and see if it's ready to take off, or turn rather. Alright, it's been about 10, 11 minutes or something on this first side, so let me go ahead and pull this pan gently off. It's going to be warm because it's been on top of cooking food. Let's see what this looks like. If we turn it over. Oh, look at that, just like Thomas's. So I'm going to flip all of these real quick, and we'll give them another 10, 12 minutes on the other side. And they're all turned over, and then we'll give them, like I said, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. We'll see what the other side looks like, and then we will test with a thermometer through the side into the center. All right, we've had 10 minutes on side 2. Take a quick look. Don't they look fabulous? But let me find the thickest one, which I think is the one I just picked up. I'm going to stick a thermometer in the side of it here and hope we get to 190 when it's right in the middle. Let's do that. A little high, which is great. That means it's not going to be underdone. Let's pull these off and put them on the wire rack. Let them cool and get the next batch started. They've been cooling for about 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, they're nice and cool. We're going to go ahead and crack this one open. They should just pop open nicely. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't have all the nooks and crannies necessarily that those famous other guys do, but I'm going to pop this in a toaster. Well, it looks like an English muffin when it's toasted, so we're going to put some butter on it. Let's see. Sounds like an English muffin. That's an English muffin, folks.